when Mohsin wants to move, he can move really fast too.
Can, but
But I do agree, Nomi
strong
has
as well.
been incredible this season, and he is physically very
Yeah. Endowed.
in-
Oh, caught slipping. Blooper. Endowed क्या होता है? क्या हो गया? Endowed कह सकते हैं क्या हो गया? उसके लिए कहते हैं, लेकिन इसके लिए भी कह सकते हैं.
ladies and gentlemen.
Assalamualaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to League Report, where we give you the ins and outs of the league. We had an exciting weekend here. Playoff action, zabardast maza, good fun.
There was 2-3 SB versus Sabers. There was Bounce versus Hustlers, Triple S versus Mambas, and finally there was Beria versus Omega. Beria Ballers versus Omega Ballers. So let's start with the first game of the night, which was 2-3 SB versus Sabers, and that happened to be my return game. I was coming back after.
She out for the season, man. I'm out for the season.
That's
Someone was saying
what
this.
the prognosis was. I was told that I can't play. There's a broken thumb, and
But Chiro shows friendship came in, Andy.
Yep, and he has
sauce.
remarkable abilities of coming back through injury. So he told me, he gave me a secret sauce. He's like,
see it.
there you go.
Sabers surprised everyone. We cannot say enough about it. Okay, they made it all the way to all the way to C1 after. The first performance was not very good. We were making fun of the team in the polls, in the groups, and we gotta give them the respect now. They showed out. They beat multiple good teams to make it to the C1 quarterfinals, and even in the quarterfinals, I think they gave up a good fight in the first few quarters. It was really tight. Hassan got injured, unfortunately.
Yes.
He was giving up a good fight, and Babban was going crazy.
They were playing quite well. They had they were taking it very seriously, and we took them very seriously as well. Hassan's injury, I think, was a turning point.
Yeah.
Umar and him just got tangled up, and then obviously the momentum was already shifting towards 2-3 SB when unfortunately the rain happened, and then the game had to be stopped and replayed at a different day from where it had stopped. I think it was Babban's second free throw after obviously.
थोड़ा सा obviously momentum उस वक्त रात को खेलते हुए एक अलग feel थी, groove था. It was really tight. The crowd was in it, तो a different atmosphere था. तो they were really pushing it. But next day थोड़ा सा obviously change हुआ सब कुछ. Then Hassan not playing. So you guys just started to easily take it away from them. But I think still Ryan Babban put up a really good fight. He stopped Aram. I saw him take Aram head on multiple plays, and he got the better of Shamir on some shots over Shamir.
Yeah. Aside from Babban, show's impact can't be understated.
Obviously.
He was the second leading scorer. Tough shot after tough shot.
The show came in, and the show was all about the show. He made this weird kind of going right lefty layup on the wrong step layup. I'm काफी advanced move, guys. I'm telling you, it's not easy. I can't do it. I mean,
unfortunately, they fell short because on the other side we had
Obviously.
Omar Khwaja and Aram Latif, who both had spectacular games. Aram had 29 points,
the standard game for
18
Aram.
rebounds, 4 assists. No, the 4 assists was new. we were surprised as well.
Aram, they hate on you. Omega season 6. Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, hashtag. Hashtag. Coming back, then Umar also had 17 rebounds, 11 points, double-double.
But Aram, man.
As per usual, and 3 assists for him as well.
I spoke to Aram after the post-game interview, and I asked him, you're in the MVP race every year, every season. Every season, you're right there. Even if you don't win it, you're second, always.
Yes.
And you always have these double-double stats. So what do you do? So he just said, I'm an old guy, man. I just go for the easy layups. I just jump really high, run really fast, and just do layups. और कुछ भी नहीं करता. Simple game, simple mechanics, simple way of winning.
He's a humble guy, but he has way more in his arsenal than what he was letting on.
For sure.
And I'm sure Omega knows he had hit 2 threes against you guys. So he's not just brute force, I'll take it to the rim. He can do a lot of other stuff.
And he's a smart player.
So, like I said, he has his jump shots, which was his threes, and in your game, and 4 assists in this game. So he has the vision, he has the knowledge, he knows how to play the game.
Really loving the 4 assists.
He's also a leader. All these things are very, very important.
For sure.
Lastly, ZQ wasn't available.
Yeah.
I would want everyone to know that he's nursing an injury, and we thought it was best to keep him out. And hopefully, by the next game, he should be available again.
That's good news.
Yeah. Not for Triple S. Next game. The next game in the night, the lineup was Bounce versus Hustlers.
Yeah.
And I'll let you take this one, Ans, because I took a lot of the last game.
Is that why? I thought it was because you said you didn't watch it.
Hey. No, I watched Mohsin do his thing, and then I was like, oh, it's getting late.
Bounce was comfortable as ever. I really think it's the best version of bounce we've ever seen in lob, at least. With Shamir finding his stride, he's getting everybody involved. He was driving in, passing at baseline to Bhakti, so he had 20 points in the first half because he was too big for the Hustlers. Obviously, Shamir was driving in, giving him baseline, and Bhaktiar was baseline say hook shot. Board पे अगर कोई miss हो जाए shot, तो Bhakti was right there. Athar was there. Anas Usman debut for Anas Usman made
Bounce got taller.
Yeah, wow, shocking
news. Even in mid-season.
Taller is better. As Mohsin says, taller is better. बस tall ही चाहिए बस. तो Anas आया, Anas ने spin moves मारे. He got a few nice layups in, good passes in. So I think Bounce is looking formidable. But I was really impressed by Humam. Humam, he was instrumental in, I remember their win versus Mavericks and during the regular season, and I've been really impressed with him. His game, he had really nice IQ. Yes. He had got a few blocks. He's a tall kind of point guard. He has good vision. He was passing it really well. And Momin
as well, number 25 for Hustlers.
Really great. He's a really great player. I hadn't seen Momin up close this tarah, and I think Hustlers have a bright future. Bhagat hit some really nice plays back to back. He got hot ekdam se. Bhagat, ye aapki taarif.
We love you.
Aapki taarif. Yes. But Hustlers, I think they've shown that that's not a pun again. They've shown that they sort of do belong here. Yes. They're rough around the edges. They're young, obviously. A couple of more pieces and they could just stick around. I think Hustlers are a nice team. I've come around to liking them. Asher played really well. So these guys are playing really well. I hope they continue. But Mohsin is forced. Mohsin, I think, went in the paint once. Yeah. He just shot threes and passed around. Yeah. So with Mohsin,
which is also quite dangerous if you think about it. If everyone else is flowing the way they are and they have momentum, I wouldn't want to be the team that faces them in the semi-finals. Let me tell you that. Or even down the line.
क्या कर सकते हैं अब मजबूरी में फंस गए हैं Mohsin भाई please हल्का please. But that's Mohsin's game. Next game was
the marquee game of
best game of the
quarterfinals.
You just had to be there.
And sometimes you have marquee games that don't live up to the hype. You see a blowout here and there. Not this one, ladies and gentlemen. This might be arguably the best game in lob history. Agreed. And it started off with a bang as well. Like surprisingly, we had Triple S first start off well, but then Haris out of nowhere. Back-to-back threes, giving
Taha की रुआई हुई थी. Taha वो send me my energy कर रहा था उधर से ना Haris को, and Haris was right off the bat he first shot in, I believe
he gave them a 10-5 lead early, and it was foreshadowing as to what was going to come later on in the game.
And then Nomi had spurts in between. Nomi played really well. He bullied Nakash and Nehal out of the way to score a few points. He played really well, I think. Nomi played his best game of his life, I believe. He had quarter shots, he had layups, he had good defensive stops as well. And Mambas looked to be on a mission. But
Mambas were controlling the game all the way in the first half. The only reason Triple S was even around was because Nehal kept them in. He did a phenomenal job. He also kept. The Mambas took a 2-point lead into the halftime, and it seemed like they were going to be able to close it out. But then the third quarter started, and the script just completely flipped. Triple S just went on a run. Timmy walk-up three right at the start of the third quarter.
And इससे पहले Timmy had been super cold, and we were discussing on the commentary that Timmy needs to step up. Timmy needs to do some offense, and Timmy just walked into a three
right as the score half started. And then the next possession after they got a stop, Nehal again, like I said, he was consistent for them all game with a running floater. And then they had the lead and they just kept the pressure on Mambas.
Mambas was imploding there.
Let me tell you, it was a 26-point quarter for Triple S, and they only allowed 12 points for Mambas in that quarter. And I think it was a 14-point lead for Triple S going into the final frame. And at this point, we were looking at the live chat.
Live chat में Taha was saying it's done, it's over. And I for one knew that Mambas could mount a comeback. It's 12-minute quarters, बहुत time. It's so much time, guys.
But not only that, you could hear Triple S's bench
celebrating. They were celebrating.
They were celebrating at the start of the fourth quarter as if they had won. And
it's too early.
It's too early. It's way too early. You never know. You have to play out the game.
On the other side, Yusuf was mad as hell on their bench. So Coach Yusuf doing coaching duties. Raja Bhai was there. They were all really upset. And it was really insane atmosphere.
It was incredible, and like we said, so the fourth quarter started. This is what we were insinuating.
Yeah.
They just flipped the switch. Mambas did, and they just went on a run.
Yeah.
They also did something very interesting. They took out Kenny and Saad, their prime guys who they've had.
Yeah.
In
the main firepower जो करते हैं वो.
And they alternately went to Ramesh and they went to Samir as their backcourt, and Haris.
Yeah.
So they kept these guys in, and obviously Nomi and Zach were their front court. And this five held Triple S, who had just scored 26 in the third quarter, to 9 points.
Insane.
9 points in that quarter, and they managed to tie it. They scored 23 themselves, and that last 3 points from Haris was incredible. If you can cue the reel. Oh my God. All the way. Nomi has been there. You just had to be there. The atmosphere in the in the house, in the court, on the court was
insane
crazy.
Shot.
Everyone went crazy, and I'm pretty sure a lot of Triple S players at that point thought it was over.
Yeah, Nomi going in. Nomi got that rebound. Nomi was going in. He passed it to Zakaria. Zakaria, it looked like a turnover, and it somehow ended up in Samir's hand. Samir passed it to Haris. Haris, no hesitation, just laced the three, and the crowd went wild.
And then Haris had another chance.
Yeah, to win it.
Corner three.
Yeah.
Completely unguarded and just rims out. If that had gone in, I'm telling you, we would be talking about
Haris को कंधों पे उठाया होता हमने, Haris आज वो होता.
Yeah, and instead he's here at Level Up.
But appreciate.
And then the game went to OT, where we had someone who we haven't mentioned show up and really take over the game, which was MBA. MBA for Triple S showed up.
Yeah.
And he also was the one who scored most of the points in the fourth quarter.
It was either Nihal or MBA doing their work. And I would also shout out Hamza Najib. Hamza Najib had that clutch layup going into overtime.
That was the first bucket
of the overtime
either
game.
team.
Yeah. And Hamza Najib just मतलब उस वक्त मुझे feel हो रहा था कि Triple S didn't want the smoke. उस वक्त everybody was just passing, they were turning it over, and Mambas were taking good shots, but they were missing. But it looked like Mambas would win. But Hamza Najib took it upon himself. He made that first drive in. He went against everybody, made the layup, and that
you could see the calming of the rest of the team.
उससे थोड़ा सा Triple S को सुकून आया, and they were like, okay. उसके बाद से Timmy went थोड़ा सा, okay. He was like, कि अब हम control कर सकते हैं. So that was, I think, the turning factor. फिर NBA just doesn't miss, man.
No, but not only that, some of the shots were just hitting everything and going in.
One shot just hit everything and just went in. That was the basketball god saying कि बस जा रही है तो जा रही है, क्या कर सकते हैं.
And with that win in OT, Triple S have set up semi-finals
Second upset, I would say, back-to-back seasons. Last season they upset Bounce, and this season they've upset Mambas. So Triple S is here, guys. It's real. And I pray the team that plays against them, man. I don't know. It's pretty scary stuff.
Whoever plays against them better be on their toes and ready with a game plan. And hopefully 2-3 days up to the...
Hopefully bribing key players.
What?
Yeah. What? So next game was what, Shahzain? Beria versus?
I don't know.
Beria versus Omega.
It was just a small game. It was
average game.
It was a small town team versus the undefeated Beria.
Yeah, for sure.
So
for sure, that's it.
Yeah, so Beria ballers took on Omega, and it was highly anticipated. Beria and Omega have had some history as well. They played against each other a lot outside of LOB, and Ans had been coming off a loss to Beria recently.
Huh? So, no, bro. Okay. Stop switching. Aram Bagh mein game doesn't count. It was nothing.
If it doesn't count, then why are you so upset?
I'm not upset.
It's okay. But Ans and Omega got the last laugh in this game. This game was incredible as well. It was high octane offense from both sides. It was the first game, I think, that went to over 100 points since the new rims have come in. And Omega was led by Ans's 25 points and 21 points, triple double, and the rest of his team also pitched in. He had 21 from Shayan and 21 from Usman Khalid as well. Zia and Qasim also pitched in double digits with 16 and 17. Zia had 17 and Qasim had 16.
Yeah.
It was a great game from everyone around. And on the other side, On is for real. Bharia Bowler's captain, 25 points. And he had, I think, 4 other guys on his team also scoring in double digits. So this was the first time I think that's ever happened with 2 Omega against any team. 5 different players in double figures. I don't know if you have any recollection of that ever happening.
No, I don't think so.
So for me, that was very entertaining. But at the end of the day, the game became less entertaining because it started off physical and it was towing the line between physical and dirtiness, and it just crossed that line one too many times for me, and that what took away from the game at the end. But credit to Omega, they held their nerve. They were there throughout the entire game. They felt like there were a lot of calls that were going against them. And as an unbiased third party, as unbiased as I can be, because I played against them in the finals, it seemed to me also like they were being hard done by some calls, and they rose above.
I wouldn't complain about the calls. I think we got a lot of calls. Obviously, they were supremely in foul trouble. I think 2 of their players fouled out. I think the rest were on 5 fouls and 4 fouls. All of them were in foul trouble, basically. So I wouldn't complain about the fouls. It was just a few too many times. A lot of flagrants were let go, I believe. Unsportsmanlike calls, maybe. And the warnings, I believe, thodi si, like
I'm insinuating the same thing.
We got 2 technicals, but khair, it happens. Sometimes it happens. I don't encourage blaming the refs. I do have a salty taste in my mouth for Bharia now. So guys, some debates on who the MVP, most improved player, defensive player of the year are. We've been having these debates behind the locker room. We'll bring some of those debates out on camera aaj. So DPOY, Shahzain, what do you think?
I mean, I would have to go with my teammate, the big man in the middle, Shamir, blocks leader. I think he's a rebounding leader as well. I think he's part of 2-3SB's defense that's undefeated. So I'd have to give it to him. I don't think there's anyone else who's even coming close, numbers-wise or impact-wise. There are great defenders in this league, but none of their impact has translated into wins. Like Amar Shamoil has been really, really good historically, and
Mohsin has played very
well. Mohsin has been playing really well.
अपना बढ़ाया है.
He has.
Yeah, but I think Nomi ने भी अपना defense बढ़ाया. सबने defense बढ़ाया, but you're right. Shami has had an impact. It's very tough shooting over Shami. Other than the fact that he's a shot blocker and everything, it's just he alters the course of so many shots and the defense, and you have to strategize around him. That warrants,
Yeah, I mean, I'll give another candidate if you can't think of one. I think Usman Khalid was really, really strong in that defense.
I mean, वो तो होता ही है वैसे, but yeah.
That's why we're debating it.
Yeah, true.
He's been very, very strong at the forward spot for you guys. He's been really, really good. I was surprised. I was very surprised. You didn't mention him off the top of your head, Ans. But Usman Khalid, aap dekh lein.
Edit this out. All of this is
#edited out. ESB.
Defensive player of the year की हमने बात ही नहीं की. खत्म.
And now let's talk about most improved. I think it's been Nomi's season, man. Like Nomi, even though like his team hasn't been able to get the wins, you can see that this year he has done a lot. Yeah. He's done a lot better, and he's been leading on the defensive end in terms of rebounding, and he's offensively improved.
And the mindset he has improved. I would say that usne the calls, he stopped arguing the calls, he stopped arguing the plays, he's just played physical and ran back on defense on every play. He stopped fighting completely. And I think we've seen that in the lob select as well, and I've encouraged him and I've appreciated a lot of it. He's just completely stopped calling fouls and everything. He stopped arguing it, and I think सबसे जो मुश्किल चीज़ होती है अपने आप को सिखाना वो आप अपनी change in nature करने का होता है, and he's changed it completely, and it's a very healthy change, and I'm very encouraged by it myself as well. Self work उसने करके दिखाया, and sky's the limit for him. Yes. I've always told him Nomi is a great body of work. He has the body of a skills and fluidity of a guard, and he's the body of a center or a forward. So he's the best specimen we have in lob, body wise. So sky's the limit for him.
I don't know about that. I mean, we also have Aram, but
Aram, but Nomi is
Mohsin also.
Mohsin.
And when Mohsin wants to move, he can move really fast too. But I do agree, Nomi has been incredible this season, and he is physically very, very
endowed. Oh, caught slipping. Blooper. Endowed क्या होता है? क्या हो गया? In doubt कह सकते हैं क्या हो गया उसके लिए कहते हैं लेकिन इसके लिए भी कह सकते हैं.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Moving on to the MVP, I think.
I have my.
I mean, I have mine as well. I think. You want to say yours first?
Yeah. I think for me it's Zubairi Qureshi. He's been really, really good this season. I think he's had an understated season. He's been around like for every game, almost. I think every game except for the last game, which was in playoffs. Otherwise, he's been a focal point in the offense. He's been able to make sure that 2-3SB has been undefeated and been consistent. He's consistently been there throughout in performances, and DQ.
For me, it will be Mohsin. I think despite them having a third seed, I've never personally voted for a third seed ever or second seed. I've always said it should go to the 1 seed. But if you remove Mohsin from that team is probably Hustlers ke upar niche. Shayad Hustlers ko hara le. So I think it's and his season has been phenomenal. You've seen him do it all. He shoot threes, run lanes. Post up, so obviously we knew Mohsin do. He has had assists. He's been defending really well. He's been running back on defense as well, and he's cut down on the fouls he used to do, the silly fouls. So he's definitely improved as well. And I believe he's had an MVP season. And
completely agree. I also agree that Mohsin has been incredible for Bounce. And after the first 2 weeks where they had lost 2 games, similar to what Sabers went through, Mohsin took it up to another level after that. Yeah. Not saying that he wasn't playing well even in those games, but he made sure that no other team was going to give Bounce any trouble. They dismantled every team that came after that, and they played really well. Another candidate that I would want to throw in the mix would be my co-host Ans and Shahzain. He's been one focal point for Omega. They've had people come in and out of the lineup. Usually they've been there every single game. That you could count on all their players always being there. But for whatever reason this season he hasn't had that consistency. And despite that, he has been there and averaging a triple-double this season, which is no easy task in this league. So that's another
kind words, Shahzain. Thank you so much. ठीक है बस.
But you don't want to say anything about your season?
I don't know. I think it just comes ho gaya is tarah. It's Usman was busy with wedding preps and people were going in and out, so it somehow fell.
Yeah, but you still managed to get the wins, right? So that's what
Some
an
wins.
MVP means to me, at least. Most valuable, despite your Usman Khalids, your Zias, your Shayans. I'm sure Shayan played every game, but like. Despite ins and outs, Ali Janzeb, he was one of the players. Despite whoever the rotating door of cast, you still managed to make it work. And that's also why I think ZQ deserves credit.
Yeah, for sure. So I think we'll end it on that. I don't know who's winning the MVP. जैसे हमें पता लगता है, guys, आपको पता है, मैं सीधा आपको बताऊंगा.
But let's be real, it's probably going to be Aram.
Probably. Aram is right there. I keep telling you, Aram is being snubbed. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. This man snubs Aram every year.
I don't snub Aram. He's just surrounded by such talent. What can I do? They take away from each other.
Snub Aram every year.
His team
Hashtag
is too
Aram
good.
season 6. Hashtag. Yes, let's do it. Let's
For 2-3SB.
Okay, guys, that's it for today's episode. We'll catch you guys next week, hopefully, with 2 happy winners of semifinals. And
or at least one.
Or at least maybe one. Or maybe neither. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know.
Let's hope one host is at least happy.
He's the only one coming that week, guys. Okay, see you guys next week. Allah Hafiz. Thank you. I'm not in the
Ans.
I'm in the MVP race.
Arham? Yeah, because Usman Khalid and all your other guys aren't there.
Shit, ये कैमरे में रहना चाहिए था. Shit.